Some day baseball yesterday on a full Wednesday slate around MLB. Only 7 games on this Thursday. We'll preview those a little bit later on. The hottest team entering yesterday in Major League Baseball in Philadelphia. The Phils had won 7 in a row, 11 straight at home inside Citizens Bank Ballpark, and were a pretty hefty home favorite in an afternoon game yesterday to make it 8 in a row where they win over the Toronto Blue Jays. Except that didn't happen. The Jays do win 5-3 over Philly in Philadelphia to snap that 7-game win streak in the 11 straight home wins. Toronto scored 3 runs in the 6th. Philly had their chances in the home half of the 9th. 5-3 after a Bryson Stott double that made it 5-3 with runners on second and third, only 1 out. The Phils had 2 chances with the go-ahead run at the dish, unable to convert. Toronto wins 5-3 as an underdog on the road in Philadelphia.
Yeah, Phillies around that -170 to -175 favorite yesterday with Nola on the mound at home. Should have probably been a victory. And even though you had a pretty good game early on, through 5 innings, it was 1-1, but the bottom fell out there in the 6th inning for Aaron Nola, who finished with 5 2/3 innings pitched, 9 hits and 4 earned runs, 7 Ks, no walks. Probably should have been good enough for a victory, but the Phillies' bats didn't come to play yesterday. And through a large portion of that game, the Phillies really only had 1 hit. I thought the lefty bats would come alive for the Philadelphia Phillies. Schwarber didn't get a base hit, but got an RBI. But I was locked in on Harper, went 0 for 4 yesterday, and also Marsh went 1 for 4, actually scored 2 runs, but no RBI there. Can't win every single game that you have. Good win for the Toronto Blue Jays, but in a game where this wasn't really supposed to be a toss-up, that's a bad loss for the Phils.
Still the most wins in all of Major League Baseball, 26, now tied alongside the LA Dodgers. The Dodgers have the longest win streak now in Major League Baseball at 7 in a row. We'll look at their game yesterday, ending out their 3-game midweek set against the Miami Marlins. We had a huge matchup yesterday up in the Bronx between the Yankees and the Astros. And once again, the Yanks continue to have Houston's number. 6 games between these two teams now. So far in this MLB campaign, 6 victories for the Pinstripes. 9-4, the win for New York yesterday over Houston. The Stros dropped to 12 games below 500. Now 12-24, but for the Yankees, a picture-perfect day. Aaron Judge, Giancarlo Stanton, Juan Soto all hit a home run. In fact, Juan Soto had a 5 RBI performance as the Yanks win 9-4. They were booked as a -162 home money line favorite. A total of 9.5 does sky over.
Yeah, it just felt like a paint-by-numbers game all the way through for the Yankees. If you're entering in this game and handicapping it, Arrietty's not a great pitcher. You see now an ERA of 8.44, but his analytical numbers are a little bit better than what his ERA actually showed. So I'm like, all right, Soto's probably a decent play yesterday. He goes nuts. But typically, you'd be looking at the big boppers like Stanton and Judge. Both of those guys came through. So I can imagine if you're the casual handicapper and saying, you know what, bad pitcher against a hot team at the plate, let me go that direction. You made a lot of money on the New York Knicks yesterday, the New York Yankees, and maybe the Knicks as well, if you include that
Knicks, you never
parlay. Yeah, exactly. But the Yankees, I like what I'm seeing out of them here, and I can't stand what I'm seeing out of the Houston Astros because we keep on having this moniker. It's going to get, it's getting late early at that point as if you take a look at old Yogi Berra clip. But if we're looking at them directly, where do they pull this out, Ben? It's not as if you can just say, okay, we'll hit our way out of this because your pitchers aren't performing at all. Like if you're giving up routinely 5, 6, 7, 8 runs, it feels like on a night-to-night basis, it doesn't matter how good your lineup is, you're not going to win that much. So 12-24 on the season, and I'm sure the Yankees are enjoying pounding the Astros on a day-to-day basis right now.
Again, we've had the conversation. What exactly is the concern level around Houston, albeit in early May? It is still a 12-game hole that the Astros have to dig and claw their way out of. It is going to be difficult work, and they're an underdog today in a rather early start, not day baseball, but 5:06 p.m. Eastern time, scheduled first pitch in the finale of this midweek series against New York. We now go to a divisional duel in the American League Central. Some heroics yesterday for the Cleveland Guardians, who walk it off in extras against the Tigers. 5-4, the victory for Cleveland at home. They were a slight -122 home money line favorite. David Fry hit the game-tying solo shot in the home half of the 9th. Brian Rocchio, the game-winning walk-off RBI single in the bottom of the 10th. Cleveland still atop the AL Central with the 5-4 victory.
Great pitching performance by Olsen in that game. 6 innings pitched, 2 runs, but only one of those earned, and he drops his ERA to 2.52. But also, you talk about being clutch at home. Look at the final 3 innings of that game. 8th inning, 9th inning, 10th inning. A run there by Cleveland, a run by Cleveland, and a run by Cleveland in extras to win that. So nice comeback victories. Now you see Cleveland at 24-13, and also the Detroit Tigers, we didn't know really what to expect from them coming into the season, but even with that loss, still above 500 in a very competitive American Central Division.
When you look at Spencer Olsen, Mark Zinno made the point yesterday. The Tigers have lost the last 6 starts that Olsen has made, and in the last 3, he has only given up 3 earned runs in total. It's been difficult for Olsen, who might have a good performance on the bump, to match what the Tigers need to pull off offensively, or the bullpen to hold things down at the end. Our guy, Vinny Pasquantino, another RBI yesterday for the Royals, as KC wins 6-4 over Milwaukee to win this midweek series against the Brewers. 6-4 the victory yesterday for KC. -120 money line favorite, a total of 8.5 at Kauffman does go over. Again, Vinny P, 2 for 3, and RBI yesterday in the home half of the first.
That's what he does, man. How about Brady Singer on the mound? 3-1 now in the season, going 5 1/3 innings, giving up only 1 earned run, dropping his ERA, Ben, down to 2.36. And the Royals at 22-16. You're beating some pretty good ball clubs here. I mean, the Brewers are good. Dropping that game only goes to 21-15. That's a nice look. But also, finally back in the lineup here, Christian Yelich. 0 for 5 performance. You know it's going to get better, but that is a big lift, which he had with, he was, maybe 3.5 weeks. He wasn't in that lineup, and still the Brewers were above 500. Let's see what the Brewers can do at the plate now with Yelich back in that lineup.
The Brewers today do not have a day off. They take on the Cardinals. The Redbirds struggling. They've lost 4 in a row, now in the bottom of the National League Central. In the AL Central, 4 of the 5 teams above 500. That includes the Tigers, with the Royals and the Twins now 2.5 games behind Cleveland for the top spot in the division. We continue to spin it around. Major League Baseball up next. You're on the early line. For whatever reason, American League pitchers here on the early line, we confuse a few names. Reese Olson for the Detroit Tigers. I called him Spencer Olsen. I don't know who Spencer Olsen is. Lucas Gill is a Brazilian model. Luis Gil is the starting pitcher for the New York Yankees. We'll have to do a little bit of work to find out who Spencer Olsen is. All right, now back to the recaps yesterday around Major League Baseball. The Phillies entered yesterday as the hottest active team in Major League Baseball, longest active win streak of 7 in a row. Now that distinction goes to the Dodgers. 7 straight wins for LA as well, after pulling off the midweek series sweep over the Miami Marlins, as was expected. LA booked as nearly a $3 favorite in each of these 3 games on the money line. Yesterday, though, 3-1 the victory for LA. Total of 8.5 stays under, and all 3 runs courtesy of Teoscar Hernandez. An RBI single in the first, a 2-run homer in the 6th. The Dodgers win 3-1 over Miami.
I should have heeded my own advice yesterday. Now, granted, we thought the Dodgers would win because Weathers isn't a great pitcher here. But how about Stone on the mound yesterday? 7 innings pitched, 6 hits, and only 1 earned run. That's a really good performance. Drops his ERA down to 3.55. But who was the guy in the lineup that I was absolutely going to love? Right-handed hitter in the 4-hole. It was supposed to be Will Smith, but got the day off being a catcher here. So who moves up as a right-handed bat into that 4-hole? Teoscar Hernandez, 3 RBI. Why? Because you know Betts, Ohtani, and Freeman are probably going to be on base at least multiple times, enough to drive that home. So if you catch that ticket, congratulations. I went Mookie Betts, 1 for 4 performance, didn't cash in on an RBI. You can't hit 10 runs every single game. It's nice to see the Dodgers say, you know what, let's slow this one down, 3-1 final. We'll take it because all they're looking forward to, they know the hitting is going to be there throughout the entire season.
Yeah.
But if you're getting guys like Stone with pitching performances going 7 innings pitched, 1 earned run, even if it is against the Marlins, that's a really good sign for the Dodgers.
So Teoscar Hernandez scored, of course, on his 2-run homer in the 6th. He bats right behind Freddie Freeman in that cleanup spot. Freddie in the 3-hole. Freddie scored 2 runs, as he also had a double yesterday for LA. But the 2 guys in front, Mookie Betts, as you said, DRS 1 for 4 at the dish. Not Shohei Ohtani's best day, 0 for 4 against Miami with 2 strikeouts. But as we look at these 2 stars for Los Angeles, at the top of the lineup. Both have been off to a very strong start to this 2024 Major League Baseball season. Shohei Ohtani, a .355 batting average. That is best in all of MLB. Both guys have 27 RBIs. Mookie not all that far behind Ohtani when it comes to the batting average this year at .346. The 11 home runs that Ohtani has hit, tied for second most in Major League Baseball. Marcell Ozuna yesterday for the Atlanta Braves getting up there. He now leads all of Major League Baseball with 12.
Ozuna's been really good, but let's focus here on that first four of what is typically on a night-to-night basis for the Dodgers. It's almost not fair. Mookie Betts is hitting .346. Ohtani's hitting .355. Freddie Freeman now spiking over .300. And typically in that four spot's Will Smith. You know what he's batting on the season? .331. That's outrageous. That's like everybody's on base to start the game every single night for the Los Angeles Dodgers. That is an unbelievable wealth of talent in that top four. But just getting back to those Betts versus Ohtani wagers here, I guess maybe because Betts plays the field, he's going to get the bump here for MVP, even though I always look at MVP strictly as an offensive statistic as opposed to adding in defense because they have their own statistic basically in Golden Gloves. I'm interested to see how long this goes and how close this race is going to be because, quite frankly, outside of injury, it's not going to slow down. These two guys at the top of the lineup are going to have historic numbers here by the end of the season apparent, and I want to see who wins out. But I am amazed that Mookie Betts still that heavy favorite, even how close those statistics are here, Ben.
Listen, this might be the last time you can bet anybody else in the National League MVP market because when and if, as we expect, Shohei Ohtani returns to the mound next year in 2025, he's going to be the favorite. He's not going to be trailing Mookie Betts by just about $2.50. DRS, can anybody else outside of the two superstars for LA win it? Bryce Harper has been on an absolute tear. Ronald Acuna Jr. not nearly as historic as a season ago when he won this award. Would you place your hard-earned money on anybody else outside of Betts and or Ohtani at this moment?
I would, because the price points are really high for some really good players on some good teams that will be there in the end to try to get that extra bump. I call like extracurriculars. Like if the Phillies finished with the best record in baseball, Bryce Harper probably had a really good season, and it's just a matter of, oh no, Betts hit 400. Of course he's going to be the MVP. Or Ohtani slugged 51 home runs. That's going to be tough to overcome. So right now, not necessarily, but those price points are certainly enticing for a few of those guys.
Yeah, absolutely so. It's a very, very, very long Major League Baseball season where anything can happen, including injury, where you have a huge gap between the top two and the rest of the National League. Hour two starts in just over 2 minutes here on the Early Line. Welcome to hour number two, live right here on this Thursday on the Early Line on SportsGrid. And what a way to start off this second hour, because alongside myself, Ben Stevens, and Donnie Rightside, it's maybe the most sought-after man in all of baseball media at this moment. His name, Jack McMullen, of course, doing great work for Just Baseball Media, our friends that put together great content each and every day, but also the play-by-play voice of the Indianapolis Indians, the AAA affiliate of the Pittsburgh Pirates. And Jack McMullen has called a couple of outings there in Indy for one, Paul Skenes, who now makes his Major League Baseball debut on Saturday for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Is this an exclusive that we have Jack McMullen on this Thursday morning?
Man, I mean, is it going to be, hey, I heard this Skenes guy is good. Tell me about him. No, man, like it's funny. A lot of people want to talk about Paul Skenes right now, and understandably so. If you haven't watched him throw, and I know that minor league baseball has kind of made that the free game of the week every time he throws. So a lot of people have already watched him throw, and super thankful that they have, because we've been able to call that. But I mean, if you're watching him for the first time on Saturday and you didn't watch him at LSU, start making popcorn. Like, it is a show, and it's more of a show than really any other pitcher in the game. He's sat 100.4 in an outing. It feels like he's having a bad day when he's sitting 99.7 with his four-seamer. But his ability to mix in a great slider and a really good, like, high-speed splitter at 95, and then a changeup as well that can make people look so stupid because guys are out in front. I mean, I think we may be watching a tremendous career get going on Saturday against the Cubs.
Jack McMullen, a true pros pro, because I was going to follow up with, hey, is this Paul Skenes guy any good, as he advised me to? But he just answered the question right off the bat. Of course, Paul Skenes, the number 1 overall pick this past July in the 2023 Major League Baseball draft. He is set to make his MLB debut in the bigs on Saturday against the Cubs for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Jack, let's spin it around the rest of Major League Baseball from yesterday. The hottest team entering Wednesday's slate in all of the bigs, that was Philadelphia. They had won 7 straight games, but all good things must come to a close at some point. That 7-game win streak snapped by the Toronto Blue Jays yesterday in Philadelphia. Hey, it's a long season. You're not going to win each and every single day, but when you look at what Philly has done in the 7-game win streak, really here in the last 2 to 3 weeks, just how good is this Phil's team at the moment?
They're ridiculous. They're playing like one of the better teams in all of baseball, if not the best team in all of baseball. And the teams that can contend with them right now are Atlanta, the Dodgers, the Yankees, and the Orioles at this point. Yeah. And the thing is, like, you can poke holes in all of those teams right now. For the Yankees, Aaron Judge got off to a really slow start. He was starting to heat up a little bit, but you know what? It's still kind of slow out of the gates. For the Dodgers, like, is their pitching all the way right? Yoshinobu Yamamoto has kind of struggled at points. Glasnow has been awesome. Buehler is back. That's great. But, 7 through 9 were not performing for the first couple weeks of the season there. They're starting to heat up now. Atlanta, we just saw Atlanta lose 2 or 3 to the Dodgers, maybe even a sweep. Yeah. I'm blanking on what happened on Sunday, but each team has a hole to poke in it except for Philly right now. What's the hole? Nick Castellanos is struggling. It's okay. You got 8 other guys in that lineup, and all 8 are hitting the crap out of the ball right now, man. Like, Trey Turner is hitting 340. Alec Boehm is hitting 340 with an OPS in the mid-950s. Like, they are so sound offensively, not to mention they have one of the 3 or 4 best starting rotation ERAs in all of baseball. Wheeler has looked like the part. He has looked like the best arm in the game. Ranger Suarez looks like the best lefty in baseball right now. I think it's Tarek Skubal in Detroit, but Suarez is right there at the moment. And, dude, Nola, we know, is going to eat innings. Spencer Turnbull had a great start to the year for him. Christopher Sanchez, Taijuan Walker. The list goes on. The Phillies are a wagon right now.
I love it. Love that term, wagon, here. And also, you take a look at that pitching staff. You put it into numbers here. The best xFIP in baseball at 3.31 through 340 innings. And also, Ben's favorite statistic here, Jack, a 7.2 WAR for the Phillies pitching staff, by far the best in Major League Baseball. Now, as we digress from one of the better teams in baseball right now, the Philadelphia Phillies, one of the better teams in baseball over the past decade or so, the Houston Astros. They get hammered again in the Bronx yesterday, Jack, 9-4. They dropped to 12-24. When is it going to be too late to say, well, the Astros sooner or later better get it together? Is the time now?
We're getting there. I don't know. If we're not there right now, it's in the next week or two. Donnie, let me ask a follow-up real quick. Do you like the lowercase x stats? As a guy that covers baseball full-time, I'm not a big fan of the lowercase x stats.
Come on, get with it. Get with it. We'll get you the tattoo on your arm. We'll live it. We'll breathe it. We'll love it.
Got you. All right. Yeah. Small font, like size 6, size 7 font, just an X, and we'll go forward with that. The Astros are an interesting case because you're not going to point to Jose Altuve and Kyle Tucker and say, you need to do more. They're already doing like everything that they've been asked to do. The only guy that is kind of underperforming, not named Alex Bregman. Bregman's been off to a brutal start in a contract year, which I was not expecting in the slightest. The only guy in that lineup that has not performed to really elevated standards is Yordan Alvarez. And at the end of the day, Alvarez is still hitting the ball out of the ballpark. He still has an OPS just above the league average, and we know that's going to go up. The problem is the bullpen and the starting rotation. Starting rotation health has been an issue. And in 2022, when they looked the part as the best team in baseball, they were not getting hurt on the mound. They had, I think, 6 guys make starts for them that year, maybe 7 guys make starts. That is an egregiously low number. That is excellent health luck in the starting rotation. Now they've needed to rely on a guy like Spencer Arrighetti, who's got an ERA over 8. And they have needed to rely on a guy named Hunter Brown, who, like, I was hoping would have a mid-3s ERA at this point, and he's sitting in the 9s right now. So it's great that Verlander's back. It's great that Framber Valdez, it was just a minor hiccup with his arm. But at the end of the day, we looked at this team saying, oh, Abreu, Hader, Presley are going to shut the door in the 7th, 8th, and 9th. They're doing anything but that right now. They've got one of the worst bullpens in baseball. So the team that came in with the best bullpen in baseball on paper being one of the worst is not a recipe for success in the slightest.
So, Jack, when you look at Houston at the moment, concern level somewhere between 1 to 10, what would you say that number is right now?
Oh, man. We played this game on the Just Baseball show last week. My co-host Peter said 0 or 1. I said 4. And then my other co-host Aram said like 6. I think I'm with Aram now. I'd say 6. The Astros are really good. Like, they've got great players. But at the end of the day, we're about a quarter of the way home here already. So, like, at some point you have to snap it into high gear. And, you know, like, when do you run out of time? We say, oh, baseball's a long season. Yeah, 3, and then we're at the All-Star break, and it becomes a very short season if you've got a lot of ground up. So it's hard to look at a team that is like sleepwalking, I guess, through the front part of the season and saying, like, yeah, but they're going to kick it in gear. I like it. We'll see what happens. I think this month is massive, and I think it will tell us all we need to know about the Houston Astros.
A plus 148 number for the Astros at this moment to even see the American League postseason. If you were to buy in on a price, might that be it? We shall see. Quickly here, Jack. On the National League MVP race, it seems to be a battle between Mookie Betts and Shohei Ohtani. If you had to bet it, who's your favorite at the moment?
One of them's a DH. One of them is not a DH. That is kind of the easy separator for me. And I know that the writers that vote on this do take that into account. But at the end of the day, if Shohei Ohtani makes them the best team in baseball, then, like, let's actually think about the definition of most valuable player. Like, Ohtani is most outstanding, but we need most valuable as well.
Back on the early line up next.